Hey friends, it's Bethany. I am so bummed right now. I worked so hard on this video and it took me a while to film it, and I went to edit it and there was no audio and I have no idea what went wrong. It was just one of those days me and technology just were not getting along. So my first thought was just to throw this video away and just not share it at all, but the crafts in this video turned out so cute that I wanted to share anyway. So instead of a normal video where you see me crafting in real time, I'm trying to salvage this video and I'm going to add a little voiceover so that you can continue to see these fun crafts anyway, but just know this is not normally how I record. But I thought this is better than nothing, and at least you can get inspired with some fun crafts. Okay. Enough of that. I'm not going to be bummed anymore. Let's go ahead and talk about this craft. So I am making a fun little graduation present for a friend that's going off to college, and this sign looked so cute. I loved this cute little design, so I'm going to put it on this sign and hope that it provides the sweetest piece of decor. So I'm going to use some transfer tape. I already have my design weeded as you watched me do, and then I'm going to place that transfer tape right over my vinyl and go ahead and peel that away so that I can put it on my sign. Doesn't this look so cute? I love the two fonts together. And then I took some scissors and I went ahead and trimmed really close to the design, only because I have that frame to be mindful of, so it'll just help me get everything centered without having too much transfer tape. So less is more for me when getting this all centered. Now I'm going to do my best to center this in the middle of the frame. The frame is from notjustframes.com. They make the most beautiful frames. They are so gorgeous, and you can pick different frame colors, which is super fun. So if you like a different style or a different tone of wood, you can pick different colors and personalize them to what you want, which is super cool. All right, I'm going to go ahead and peel away that transfer tape to reveal this beautiful sign. I did use a matte vinyl, which is quickly becoming my favorite thing for wood signs because it looks more like paint instead of a glossy vinyl, which looks like vinyl. So I love how that turned out. All right, next up, I am telling you what, Walmart brought it for school supplies this year. I was so excited. My kids loved picking out their school supplies there. They just had the cutest things, and usually we are Target girls through and through, but Walmart just sealed the deal. They also had these little mini crates. Oh my gosh, these are so fun. I recently did a video, well, I guess not recently, it's probably a couple years ago, but you know, who's counting? I did a video about back to school supplies that you can find at Dollar Tree that work really great in your craft room. So I'm going to link that for you so that you can see a really fun video on how you can shop the back to school section and think of your craft room in mind. So hopefully that helps you, but be sure to check that video out. But I love these 4 cards. I love that you can put all of your card supplies as you're planning your cards in each of these cute little crates, and then they're collapsible so that you can make them smaller when not in use. So go check those out. They're super sweet. All right, I'm going to use a very fun holographic vinyl, and I typed out my stories. We have a little sweet pea that loves to write stories lately, so she loved this notebook and picked it out for more personal use instead of school use, and she's going to use this to keep some of her stories in. I also did create a offset, so if you don't know how to do an offset, I also have a really cool video on how to do an offset, and I am going to do an offset just so this really stands out on the background of the notebook, because the notebook is super busy, right? So this is just going to help us see the words even better. So I'm going to go ahead and layer this. I'm going to use a magnet just to help keep that offset layer nice and flat, and then I'm going to center this the best that I can so that I can get it all placed where I want to. I'm still so bummed that the original video did not turn out because I did have some fun things to say, but you know, it's okay. Sometimes technology is just not our friend, and I'm glad you get to see all of these crafts anyway. Okay, I'm pointing to the top right screen, which means I'm going to place a link to that video about the offset. So I am going to share all about how to create an offset in Design Space in case you missed that. It's super easy and they're very handy to create for your designs. I'm going to place that right in the middle of the notebook, and I think that looks just about great right there. And I'll burnish that down once more and then peel away my remaining transfer tape. My daughter was ever so patiently waiting for me to craft this for her. She kept asking me if it was done, so I am very excited that I can give her this right after filming so that she can create some really pretty stories. I was also going to put 2025 on it, but since it's already August, I thought I would not time date it, and I went ahead and just left it as is. But I love the holographic look because look, as you tilt it, it takes on so many different colors, which is really fun with that backdrop that contains so many colors. Okay, off to Hobby Lobby I went this week. I found this really neat silicone little wristlet or clutch. I can't remember what they called it, but I've really been needing something for the inside of my purse to hold a bunch of things. I feel like I say that all the time, and my purse is just always a mess. But such it is with 3 kiddos. We're always throwing stuff in there. But I'm going to rub that down with rubbing alcohol. And I know that silicone does not hold vinyl well, so I went ahead and got these patches, and I'm going to attempt to put the patches on there. But I'm going to just go ahead and spoil it for you right now. They did not work. They do stick, I will tell you that, but they are not going to be long term on there. So I was a little bit bummed because I thought this looked so cute. But I am going to research what I could do to maybe add an adhesive to the back of these patches to see if I can just add something that's a little stronger instead of that double-sided sticky. So I'm going to research any type of adhesive that can be used with more of a silicone material and see if I can remedy that. So this would be cute in your craft room because it's sticky enough to where it's still decorated, but it wouldn't be something I would toss in my purse because I don't think those patches would last very long. So a little bit of a craft fail, but I kept it in the video because maybe you're wondering too about silicone. So we'll just have to see how we can decorate that in the future. Okay, another thing from Hobby Lobby was this zipper pouch, super cute. It has vinyl on the bottom, but it also has fabric on the top. And then I have this Bible study. I went ahead and chopped the edge off, which you saw me do in a video with my new cinch stack cutter, and I still need to bind it. But I thought this would be so cute to hold my Bible studies in because it was relatively the same size. Yet when I went to go put it in there, it was just too snug of a fit, and it was too hard to get in and out. So this didn't quite meet the expectations that I was hoping when I bought it, but that's okay. I'm still going to use it and just place my little tiny Bible study notebook and pens and highlighters in instead of my actual study. So it'll still be really handy for Bible study days, but I won't be able to actually put a huge Bible study book in like I was initially hoping to, but that's all right. I'm in love with this font, and I actually have 2 different designs on here, but it was hard for me to see where to cut when I cut these out, so I went ahead and just pre-weeded one of the designs so I could see really quickly where my design was. Sometimes I don't want to accidentally cut into a different design and make a whoopsie, so it's just easier to weed everything at once and cut everything out once everything is easier to see. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and weed out all these middles. This font is gorgeous. It's listed as more of a Halloween font, which always makes me laugh so much because it doesn't look spooky at all. But I love this font. I'll link it for you down below. Also, I should mention, I mentioned this in my real video, but you know what happened to that audio. So I'm going to mention now, click the title of the video, then a box will pop up with all the supplies I'm using. I'm trying to be more mindful of reminding you that each time because YouTube is always changing all of the rules. All right, I'm going to use a lint roller to lint roll just the top of this little material. That way there's nothing preventing my iron-on from laying down. I'm also using the mini iron here, and the reason is because I want to be very mindful not to get the heat near that clear vinyl at the bottom of this little zip pouch because I don't want it to melt. So I'm using a tiny little iron so I can monitor where the heat goes, and I'm going to strictly keep it on my vinyl, or I'm sorry, not on my vinyl. I'm going to strictly keep it on my material at the top and away from my vinyl. I love how this turned out. I think that font is just so delicate and I love it so much. It always makes every word I type just look gorgeous. Also, I have to mention, my little boy decided he wanted to pick out my nail polish color, and it was so funny. My husband was egging him on and encouraging him to help me step out of my comfort zone and do something a little different than I usually do. So these bright green nails are a little bit wild for me, but I'm loving them because my little boy loves them so much. But my goodness, I am ready for fall. All right, I love how that turned out. I can probably stick my Bible study book in long ways instead of the traditional way that I was hoping, but it's still going to work out. Okay, I'm going to grab that other piece that I was starting to pre-weed. This time I'm going to make a t-shirt, and I found a really cute design. Once again, I will list it down below for you in case you fall in love with it too. But I'm going to weed out this entire design and get all of these little middle pieces out, and then I'm going to place this on a fun shirt. I've been really loving the crop shirts lately. They've been really fun in the summertime with shorts and things like that. So I'm going to make another one. I've been really enjoying the ones by Comfort Colors. I like to get them in an oversized size, and they just end up being so comfy. All right, there's the design. I'm going to take my shirt over to my heat press, and first I'm going to do a pre-press. I like to pre-wash my shirts. I just use my shirts for personal use, and then I'm going to go ahead and use my lint roller to get any lint off the surface. Then I'm going to take some time and really overthink where the placement is, but it's always so worth it to make sure it's right in the middle. Then I'm going to press the design on the shirt and make a brand new shirt. I love the idea of making shirts with my Cricut. Again, that is the reason why I bought my Cricut in the first place. It's so much fun. All right, so then what I'm going to do is make sure that this cools off really nicely. I like to put it on a glass surface to make sure that it cools down as quick as possible because I like to keep it crafting. I don't like waiting for things to cool. Then I'm going to peel that liner off. It looks great. I'll monitor to make sure everything remains on the shirt, and if not, I can do a little reheating to make sure everything lays down nice. But there is my cute shirt. Love how that turned out. I also really love this pouch, even though womp womp, total craft fail, but I'm going to figure out how to get those to stick. And then I am really loving this Bible study pouch. Again, it was something that I wanted to put a whole study in, but it wasn't quite big enough. Then the My Stories notebook turned out super cute, and so did the sign. Thanks for sticking with me. Sorry about the audio, but I'm glad you got to see these anyway. All right, everyone, I'll see you all in the next video.